Hi everybody, Jason here. I've got a video today on I'm going to show you how I reload the 223. And some of the methods I use might be a little bit different from the everyday norm. Anyway, you'll have to excuse my videoing a little bit. I lost my tripod and I've got my little boy helping me today. Okay, what we got today is just some range brass, 20 pieces. I'm going to show you how I do it, how I process the brass. I picked this up from the range. I kind of went through it, cleaned it. It is washed out. But first thing what I do is I'm going to decap. But before I decap, I use this. Can you see that? My son's videoing. I use this case lube from RCBS. It's got a little bit of lanolin, I believe, in it, and alcohol, and I just spray over the case, just like so. Okay, and then I'll meet you over at the press. Okay, what we're going to be using today is the Redding 223 die set, and it's the 3-piece die set. Actually, it's a 2-piece, and I bought the third one. It's a crimping die. But we're going to use the decapping die, which is that there. You see it, buddy? Alright. And we're going to use this Lyman turret press. I like it. It's a pretty good press. I'll show you how I get it ready. I use the shell holder. Put that down in here. Now, bring the shell holder up. Bring this down till it touches. Do you see that right there? And it touches, and then just lock it down. And that just happens to be where it's at on my die. Alright everybody, I had to switch with my son. He's going to be the operator today, and I'll just talk you through it. We've got the decapping tray in there for decapping. He's going to pull it all the way down to decap it. And did you do it? Let's see. Nope. Let's do it again. Okay, pull it all the way down. Keep going. There you go. And then as you bring it down, it's going to be kind of hard because it's forming it as it goes down. Let's see if you did it. Yep, you decapped it. So we're going to do 20 pieces of brass. And that's our first one there, so I'll just put it upside down. So JT's going to go through and he'll do the rest. He likes doing stuff with me, don't you, buddy?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, let's do it. Okay. It's kind of hard for him to do. He's just a little guy, but he likes doing it. Okay, there's 2 done. We're going to go through and do the rest of the 20 and then come right back. Right, buddy?
Yep.
Alright. Like I said, it's the Lyman turret press. And it's got 6 stations. I like it a lot. For any of you who are looking to reload, it's a good press. I bought it as a kit. And that kit came with the trimmer, the powder measure, the scale, a few other things, but you can decap on, or also cap with it. We'll do that later. So, you about ready to do the rest of them?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see at the next step. All right, we got all 20 pieces of brass decapped, and we're at the next step. But before we do the next step, I want to talk to you for a minute. What I do in this series is it works for me. I want you guys to educate yourself, look online for different ways of doing things. I did that. I want to give a big shout out to a guy that has helped me, and Jiu-Jitsu 2000. Hey Jiu-Jitsu. If you guys haven't seen his series or his channel, go check it out. He does great work, or a great job of explaining things. He makes an awesome or shows you how to make a pretty awesome penny stove, which me and my boys made, and we cooked some stuff on it. It was pretty fun. But yeah, go online and educate yourself. I did that, and it just makes you a more well-rounded reloader, I guess you could say. Sorry. Now, anyway, we're going on to the next step now. And where I get all of my information from as far as my reload data, can you see this right here, buddy? It's the Lyman 49th edition. And what we're going to be doing today is reloading 223 Remington. See that right there? And right down here we're going to be using a 55 grain jacketed soft point. You see that? And the powder that we're going to be using is H335. Right there. Now for our trim, on the previous page, I go off of what the trim length, trim to length 1.750. Do you see that right there? So we're going to be trimming these to 1.750. Alright. Now the reason I'm trimming second is I'm using the Dillon electric case trimmer, and you need the cases lubed in order to trim it, because it goes into like a well, it is a full sizing die, and I'll show you that right now. Alright, here's the Dillon trimmer. I have it on a little Lee press that we bought. It actually works pretty good. If anybody's looking for another good press, this one was $26 on Amazon. It works really well from what I've used it so far. Now, this Dillon case trimmer, a really good friend of mine gave it to me, a guy that I look up to and consider him a second dad. And I didn't get the instructions with it, so I had to look online and do a little bit of, I guess you could call research and developing on my own. Now what it is I don't know if you could see it, but this right here, it's another full length sizing die. And then inside of it, oh, I should take it apart, but it's a pain. Let me get a flashlight. Okay, move your finger. Let's shine it right here, bud. My son's helping me. Inside of here is a cutter. It's a inserted carbide cutter, and the cutter itself screws down onto it. Now to set it, you do it just like you would do a regular sizing die. So what we're gonna do is safety first, right, buddy?
Yep.
Where is it? Okay, got your safety glasses on. I'm going to be doing this one because this one does deal with cutting blades. So I will demonstrate how it works. Normally, this little collar here goes around right here, and then I hook it up to the shop vac and it gets all of the brass out, but I'm not going to have the shop vac on because it is kind of loud. And this unit here vibrates really bad, so you're going to hear a lot of vibrating, but deal with me, but I'll show you. This is how I do it. Here we go. Alright, I had to trade my son places. I got my safety glasses on. I don't know if you can see them, but well, they're more sunglasses. My son's got my safety glasses. I'm going to go ahead and turn this unit on. It is kind of like loud and vibrating, but normally I have the vacuum turned on. Oh, there goes a piece of brass. Here we go. Load it up in. You hear that? It is kind of flimsy. I'm using my son's workbench. And we're at 1 inch 7, 52, 53, which I think that should be good. I normally take it to 50. Yeah. we'll go through and do all 20 of these. So it's really a lot easier. I'm still getting used to it. I normally do about 100, 150 of these at a time, and it goes pretty quick. I check every fifth piece on the length. Pretty easy. Now, another thing that you could do to trim them to length is use the lathe style, which I've got. It works really well. That's actually what I use on my other brass, and I use this mainly for the 223. Should we check one? They're 1.748. I usually go plus or minus 2 thou. It's okay. Works pretty good. Okay, we're about done with this second step. You getting on that's all? Getting it all? Alright, here's the last one. Alright, 1:750 on the money. Oh, it's a lot brighter in here without the sunglasses on. Alright. Alright, we're back. We're ready to deburr and swedge. Let's go right here. What we're going to use today to deburr it is I've got the Lyman multi deburr tool for the inside and outside. I've got a hand uniformer or swedger. I got a case pocket cleaner. And then what I like to use is this deburr tool. I got that from Enco. I'll show you how I use that. First thing I do, I grab the case and I just put a light deburr on the outside. You see that? Now, this is military brass, and ideally you use a swedger. Well, I don't have a swedger. They're a little bit pricey for what I can afford right now, so I'm saving up. Where are you going? Come back over here. Sorry, my son's filming. So what I do to swedge it, I grab this deburr tool and I just put a light chamfer on the back, about 5 turns. To see that? And that starts to take the crimp away. And then I'll come back and I'll go through with the hand swedger and the primer pocket cleaner. But for now, I just do the outside with the back side of this tool. That sounds like fingernails running around across a chalkboard, isn't it? It's kind of annoying, but that's what we do. So I do the outside there, the inside there, and that. We'll do a couple more. I do that. Wait a minute, no, keep doing it. Deburr. Put a little chamfer. Actually, that one shouldn't be there. Chamfer just a little bit. I'm just removing just a little bit of material. Oh, bless you. I think we're going to have to invest in another tripod. Hopefully this video turns out pretty good. Hope you guys are learning something. We like doing reloading. Alright, I'll go through and do the rest of the 20 real quick. Show you those. And then we'll be right back. Okay everybody, I've gone through and done all 20 of the brass. I deburred. Just a slight deburr on that primer pocket. I don't know if you could see that. And that's just to help me hand swedge them. And then I did the ID and the OD of the case. Now what I'm going to go do is go through and clean the primer pocket with the brush. I don't know if you can see that. And then go through with the pocket swedger, or I'm sorry, the hand swedger or the uniformer. And okay, everybody, I got all the brass deburred, and I got the primer pocket cleaned, and I hand swedged it. So now what I'm going to do is tumble it. But normally when you hear the word tumble, you think of we're going to be using the vibro tumble. But what I do something a little bit different. I use a rotary tumble, or a wet tumble. This is just a Harbor Freight rock tumbler, but what I put inside of it is what does all the work. I don't know if you could see those. Those are little stainless steel. They almost look like U-joint bearings, but they're little stainless steel rods. And I like how these turn out, how my brass turns out a lot better than using the vibro tumble. I still use the vibro tumble though. In fact, if you look down here, my oldest son is doing some 40 caliber pistol primer, or pistols, and he prefers to use the vibro tumble. But there's, you know, it comes down to preference. You know, I like them both, but I prefer the looks of this one, and it also degreases the shells. Remember how I sprayed all that lube on? I don't want to put any primers in that pocket or any powder down in there with any of that oil in. I want to make sure all of that is degreased. So that's why I go to this type of tumbler. And what it does, I use a little bit of Dawn dish soap. That acts as a degreaser and lubricant. And I use lemon shine. Now, I bought these stainless steel media online. I believe that's what the website was called, was stainless steel media. And I got enough to do both tumblers. This one does two. There's one back there, and then this one. And I typically do 50 pieces per barrel. So 100 pieces at a time for about 2 hours. And this is what I do. I just dump all the brass. Sorry, my tripod or slash son's not here. He went to bed. So I'm kind of doing this with one hand. I just dump them in there. Add a little bit of Dawn dish soap. Just a little bit. And then I add a little bit of lemon shine. Typically a couple tablespoons will be more than enough. Just like that. And then you want to fill it about 3/4 of the way full, or where it's about an inch or so above the brass, the water. I'll go fill it up with water and I'll come right back. Okay, I went out and filled it up with water. See there? Now, I like these Harbor Freight little tumblers. One, they're inexpensive. My wife bought me this one for Christmas a few years ago. It does a good job. And like I said, I only deal mainly like 100 pieces at a time when I reload. So this works great. This one does 50, and then the second drum does 50. But for today, we're just going to do the one load of 20. It's kind of hard doing this with one hand. But you want to make sure that that seats all the way down. And it is. Comes with top lid. Sorry, this is harder than it looks. I have a hard enough time with two hands. Alright, it's almost tight. Okay, I've got it hooked up. Got the one drum in. Like I said, normally I've got two drums going at once. The other one sits back here. And that's just gonna do its thing. And I usually let it go for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'll come back at that point. Okay, this has been tumbling for about an hour and a half. Let's go ahead and take it apart and see what it looks like. If you like these rock or these little tumblers from Harbor Freight, I think they're about $40. They work pretty good. Let's see if I can get it up in there and see. I don't know if you can see, but it's real pretty black in there. The next step is to go into the sink. I gotta go take it in there and we'll go wash them off. Alright, here we are in the kitchen. We got the brass with us and we're going to rinse it out. What you're going to need is, of course, a sink, a cookie sheet, and then you're going to have to turn your oven on the lowest setting it will go. And I'll go ahead and preheat the oven now. Oh, that's about 170 degrees. Let that preheat, sorry. Okay, what we're going to do is, I don't know if you can see that, but look how dirty this is coming out. We're going to kind of drain this out. That's pretty dirty. Gotta be careful not to drop those little bearings or pieces of stainless steel down the sink. Normally you'd have some pantyhose to catch it with, but I just rinse these out just like so. See how shiny those came out? Pretty clean. Get all 20 of these out. Might be a minute. These look really good. But I got an extra pair of hands in here with me. But look, I don't know if you can see it, but look at the primer pockets. Turned out pretty good. So normally I do 50 of these per barrel, so 100, but today we only got 20. That did a good job of degreasing also. That Dawn did a good job. Okay, I think I got them all. Okay, and then just drain those out. I usually drain it out onto like a pantyhose or something. Oh, there's one more. Okay, now that our oven's preheated, I want to turn it off before I put the brass in. Now we're gonna hurry and put the brass in, and this will just dry it before I put the powder or the tips on. Making some brass cookies now. And we'll usually let that stay in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll come back after that's over. See you in a minute. Okay, we're back after about an hour. We let them stay in the oven. They're warm. They're warm. Just go ahead and put them in the tray. You look at them. And after I put them in here, I'll meet you out at the bench. Okay, I just wanted to show you how they turned out. They're pretty dry. Oh, whoops, sorry. But I really like using that tumbler. Now that they're really dry, they're free of any grease, dirt. Now I feel good about putting primers and powder in them. And that's the step we're going to next. Okay, we're at the reloading bench. I've got the primer tube installed with the primer press installed. Today we're going to be using the CCI number 41 primers. And I've got another tray here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to load brass into the shell holder, raise it, and it's already picked one up. Just like so. I use two trays, one my pickup and then one that I'm going to put into. I like reloading from the press. That's the only thing I've really done. Some people do the primers with a hand tool. I get those work good too. I've never done it that way, but it's up to you what you want to do. I think this works good. Takes a little bit of pressure, but not much. But you want to make sure that primer, I don't know if you could see it, it's recessed under this surface. And it looks good. I'll go ahead and finish the rest of these, and then we'll be back in a minute, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to put the powder in. Today we're going to be using the H335. So if you look at the book, for a 55 grain bullet, H335. Okay, buddy, my son's helping me. We can go our threshold from 24 to 27 grain. We're going to go about 26 grain today. Okay, I got my scale set on 0 for the brass. And to charge it, I'll just see if I can move the camera here. I'm using the Lyman powder dispenser. It just came with my kit. It's a pretty good dispenser. It can also be attached to my T-Mag press, but I don't use it that way. Since I'm checking every 5th part, it's just as easy to do the powder drop in one operation. But here's how I do it. I get the funnel, get my brass that I had zeroed out, and let's see how it came out. Oh. 26.2, and on the book it said it was 24.2, I believe. Let me get the book real quick. Yeah, I don't know if you could see this. Oh, let me bring it over here. Yeah, H335. I could go 24.3 to 27. So we're well within. That's about where I like to take them. Oh, but I dropped my powder, so I'm going to put that back in the thing, and I'll kind of show you how I do some here. I flip it here to get all the residue out. Let's check that one again. Okay, we're going to go through and do some. I made this little stand that it sits on, nothing fancy, and I just hammered that down to my bench. It's a temporary placement for now. I want to make a bigger bench, but as most things in life, my wants come well after my family's needs. I got 4 boys and they're all active. Here's my 5th piece. I'm going to zero out my measure, and then I'll hurry and throw in and we'll see how it does. These are nice to have, these digital scales. 26 grain, right on the money. 25.9. Pretty good. I like using this H335 powder. In this powder measure, I don't know if you could see, but the powder, or I'll bring it up. The powder looks like a bunch of little BBs, and then it drops it by volume. Well, other powders that I've used almost looks like pencil lead. And this particular, at least I've had the experience with this particular kind of, there, I'll keep going. With this kind of powder measure, doing the other type of leads that look like pencil, or the other types of powder that looks like the pencil lead, it seems like it wants to cut it as I'm doing the measure. And like I said, I found that this smaller ball style seems to go through my measure better. Maybe I've only been the only one that notices that, but I like it. In fact, if you can, get your powders in a big jug. This is an 8-pound jug, and it's more economical that way. And then a lot of my other rifles use the same powder, so it's almost like a universal powder for me. Just zeroing out another piece of brass here, and I'll throw another one up. Oh, 26.1. All right, I'll keep throwing some charges here.
A lot of you probably see something different in the background. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, this right here. It's kind of cool. It has a meaning behind it. For the person that, the one person out there that I know, he knows what that is. There you go. I couldn't find the action figures today. They are sold out. But there you go. Anyway, sorry. That's just my way of talking to somebody. I'm going to do another charge. Or do another measure. Here, weigh it. 0, and I'll hurry and throw one. $25.2. I did adjust it down just a little bit, but that's still good. And I'll go ahead and finish the rest of these, and we'll be at the next step.
Okay, we're just about ready to seat our bullets, but I just wanted to show you what I've done real quick. I made a sticker. I got these from Midway. Kind of show you what we've done. We got the 223 Remington. We're going to be using the Remington 55 grain soft point. We used H335 at 26 grain. The primer was CCI's number 41, and the case length was 1 inch 750. Now, the book tells us to go to 2 inches 260. I've ran into an interesting situation. Today we're going to be using these bullets, and they have a cannula. See that? Let me get one that doesn't have one real quick. Just 1 second. Okay, here's another bullet next to it that does not have a cannula. Now that's the type that I normally use, is the one without a cannula. Oh, there's the one that's rolling off my bench. Now I can maintain the overall length of the 2.260, but with the cannula I couldn't maintain that length, and I'll show you here in a minute. But here's another way that you can make sure you have the right bullet. I always double check on my scale. I got it to grain, and these are the bullets we're going to use, and I always just double check. Yep, it's a 55 grain bullet. Okay. Alright, we will set these up on the press and show you how we do it. Okay, we're going to put the bullet seating die in. Now what I've done is I've made some dummy rounds to set these up for the length. See, there's no primer, there's no powder. I just put this in the press, bring it up. Now, I'm not going to crimp the same time. I'm going to use a separate die for crimping. So I'm just going to bring it down until I could feel that bullet seating die touching. And it's touching right there. And I'm going to lock it down. And then I'm going to get my crimping die. All it is comes up, and I don't know if you can see inside of there. Can you see that in there? A little collet looking thing. It crimps down and puts a factory crimp on. So I'm going to bring that around to this one. That's what's nice about using this 6 station. I'll just do it all in one pass. So it's not touching yet. So I'll loosen that up, bring it down a little bit. A little bit more. Loosen it, tighten it down. There we go. Crimp there. Alright, now we're gonna seats and bullets. Put bullet in. See where the cannula is? Right there. I don't know if you can you see that? Let's check what my overall length is already. 2.240, 2.238. See, that's already below what the book said to use at 2 inches 260. So we're already below that, but we're not quite ready where the cannula is. So we're going to go a little bit below more. You okay? My little son's helping me again. I'm going to take it a little bit more. Let's measure that one. 2.230, a little about 10 thousandths more. 2.2. Oh, buddy, you're right in there, aren't you? That's about where I like it with the cannulas. 2 inches, 220, 222-ish. So let's set that up. Okay, put it right here. Let's move it to the next station. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
All right. He wants me to hurry and finish my video so we can go and make him a video, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. See how it put that nice little crimp? I like that. Now, we're supposed to check it with the headspace gauge. Just here's the headspace gauge for the 223 Remington. And it goes in flush. So we'll do that to all of them. Here we go. See how fast we can do this. Not fast, but this is how I like. .222. And again, I check every fifth piece on my length. Now I can leave this press. I normally leave it set up for the 223. And then on the other stations I do a lot of 30-30. Makes it nice. I can just leave them in there. And I'll go ahead and finish doing these. And we'll come right back to you. Okay. Okay, one last step. That's going to check them all with the case gauge. And then just do a visual inspection of them all. That one looks good. I don't know if you could see that. Case length gauge, there's some little grooves in there. I want to be, there's an upper one, I want to be at least flush with that and above this other groove. Looks pretty good. I'm not worried about this other side. That's for your length. I trimmed them all to length. I'm just basically worried that it doesn't look like something like that. Or like that. I want it flush. See that? And then I'm giving it a visual inspection. Each one. I had a pretty good video today. My son helped me, so hopefully I didn't make
make you too dizzy with the camera. Right, JT's here with me. He likes hanging out with me. And then I made my stickers. And that's how I'm going to put on the case. Oh, I didn't write down what my length was. My overall length was 2.223. And then I'm not going to worry about the date. Yeah, I will. Today is May 3rd, 2015. And I'll put that on my box for these bullets. But I'll just go through and check them all. Then if you guys are interested in my channel, it's just new, starting out. It's going to be on more like self-reliance type videos. It won't be just reloading. I'm going to make maybe some soap. I'm a ham radio guy, 73s to all you ham radios guys out there. I'm going to be making some antennas. That'll be fun to do. We've made one already, so we know which one we're going to make. It works pretty good. And we're just anything. You know, if you guys have any suggestions for my channel, go ahead, feel free, leave comments. I appreciate you stopping by and watching our video. We're not professionals by any means. We just do this as a hobby and thought we'd invite you along on this trip with us today of reloading. It was pretty fun. Hope you learned something. And feel free to like. I appreciate you guys again. And go ahead and check out my my buddy Jiu-Jitsu 2000 channel. He's got a lot of good information on there. He takes things more into depth than I do. He's real thorough. He's a real good guy. He's got a good story. If you watch all of his videos, you'll learn what he's gone through in his life. He's a really good guy. But thanks for watching, everybody. And again, hi Jiu-Jitsu. And that'll be it for the next video. Stay tuned. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.